Hello, my name is John Spangle. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I titled it Underground. I was thinking about the church that's underground in China and present day China, present day Iran. I was watching a video the other day. Someone was talking about an old video they showed at China where some people had sent some Bibles, and these people were in the airport. Chinese people were getting these Bibles. They were Christians, and they didn't have no Bibles. And the first Bible they owned, and people were just holding these Bibles to their hearts and crying. And one lady in China spoke in Chinese. A person translated that her words were, "This is something that we greatly needed." And so that's where we are today. And unfortunately, like places like here in America, it's not quite like that. People, they don't have the love for God as much as they do in other places. And you can say, "Well, John, you can't say that." Well, actually, I can, because I look at certain things. Like my wife and I went and saw, uh, and that's something I'm working on. I've had trouble in my marriage. My wife has mental problems, and I've talked in previous videos, because my videos are nothing but my life story and just giving a testimony and being obedient to God. Struggling every day and learning and myself, and just an outward of speaking what I've been studying to influence other people to study God's Word. But my wife and I are working on things, and she's in counseling and things. A lot of things that happen in her life, that things that happen traumatize you as a child, can affect you as an adult. And we went and saw. Well, I apologize. I have trouble with my memory. I have a lot of health issues. I'm a disabled veteran, so that's the reason why I do these videos. I don't get out to church as much. But we watched The Silence of Freedom. Oh, Sound of Freedom. I apologize. It didn't click in my old brain yet. We saw The Sound of Freedom 2 days ago, and it was something that we saw, and I don't think there was a dry eye in the theater. And of course, everybody's trying to hide this movie, and everybody's talking about it on YouTube. I even just did my last video a few days ago. I named it "The Innocent," talking more about this. But the sad thing about when we watched the movie was at the end they talked about how much pedophiles and child pornography is going on in the biggest country in the world that you know has the most sex traffickers and for these young children, and abusing them so much, as the United States of America. So judgment is coming to the United States. Just a matter of time. A lot of times you'll see sorry, I got an itch, but my knuckles. I like to. I train in some martial arts. I've been doing it over 30 years, and I train my knuckles. That's why you're like, "Hey, his hands are dirty." No, it's just my iron knuckles I train with. But the United States isn't the Christian-based nation that we've been told, and we've been away from that since the 50s. It was in the 50s when they started taking prayer out of schools, and that's the reason why today people's, taking God out of everything in society, and that's what we see the society we live in today here in the United States of America. But there's a lot of people I listen to on YouTube that I look at that are good Christian men. And what I'm talking about is I want to talk about BRICS, 5 of the 10 Kings is the title of this. And this is continually teachings of other people I've listened to, like J.D. Farag, Prophecy Updates. I love listening to him as a minister. He's a real man of God. YouTube channel Generation 24. I'm sorry, this thing's messing up. Trying to do a scam on my computer again. I had an update, and of course they messed your computer up, and I've been trying to work on it. Here's my buddy Patches. He's got to check on Dad. Tyler's YouTube page, Generation 2434, talks a lot about what I'm going to talk about. He is very, very informed man. And there's another I just heard about today, because Tyler has done some videos with Barry Scarborough, but unfortunately, I just got word that he's having some health issues, And so that man needs prayer. He's going to have some time off. Satan is really attacking everybody right now. And that's because the rapture is about to happen. And so a lot of people are dealing with issues. I'm having a lot of financial issues right now in health. My health on some things has been getting worse. I just got a blessing. I just got, because of my cancer, type of cancer I had when I was over in Iraq for almost 2 years. It's recognized. So the VA upped my disability. So you have to laugh about it. I was 70% disabled. VA upped my disability to 80%, which gave me $230 more a month. But then during the thing they had to check my health for the cancer, they did a complete checkup on everything. And so I called my wife the other day and told her, I said, VA's giving me $230 more a month. I went from 70 to 80% disabled. She's like, fantastic. And then a month later, but VA says that my side nerve damage and stuff I had my lower, both sides, were marked as a 20%. Well, they decided to mark that down from 20% to 10%, which will take the 80% in October down to 70%. So for 2 or 3 more months, I'm going to have $230 extra a month. But in October, I'm going to lose that $230. So I got it basically for 4 months. I said probably the reason was that because there's a law saying I'm entitled to it because of my cancer. So you just got to laugh at stuff like that. And today there's a long story. I'm helping somebody and these are my phone account, and there's some situations there where he broke his phone, went to get another phone, and he kind of cheated and cheat me too because it's all in my name, and sold the extra phone, so that caused a problem. So he has to pay for the phone. Well, they decided to disconnect my phone until that's paid. Unfortunately, when you try to help people, they make mistakes, and he's doing better. I'm praying for him all the time. He's living with me now. I'm going to be here for a few months, actually. I told him another month, but he's been with me for 1 month, but I'm going to give him 2 or 3 more months to help him out. Because that's what we're here to do, help people. But he's got to be a little bit more honest on things. So my phone's got ticked off today, turned off, so that's the issue there. It's been almost a full year since my house has been trees fall in this house. I rebuilt stuff. You can see the door behind me. There's no molding. I have no molding in a lot of places in the house. They never put molding up. Still fighting the construction company. Basically, they stopped working. And so you can't see it because I got it blocked by my dresser, but I got there's a hole in my wall in my shower. I can't use my shower because the pipes are busted because there was no heat in the house during the wintertime. My wife and I were living in the hotel, and insurance stopped that November last year because that's when that was their final end date for fixing the house, and they never did. Well, we don't owe you a living expense from them, so that took all my money from November, and then I moved into the house here in April of this year. I mean, you have to laugh about this stuff. It's crazy. It's just a tax on people trying to just to live and make it, and the price of everything going up. I've got 2 or 3 credit cards. I had good credit, but I got things charged up because the hotel was taking over half my income. So it's good times. Good times. I mean, everything. The reason why it's good times is because we know God is coming soon. I mean, we're right there on the cusp. We know what season. I don't believe it's 4 or 5 years down the road. One man I was talking about, talking to the other day, was talking about how wrong we are in tribulation. There is no rapture, and then we go through tribulation. I was like, you don't study what I study, and he talks about different things. And I'm like, well, there's Christians. We have tribulation all the time. Yes, I understand that. Where's tribulation now? There's areas in this world where you're killed if you're a Christian. That's happening now. And then we're being attacked here in the United States. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. But Jesus Christ is coming for us because tribulation is for the Jewish nation to bring them back to God. It's not for the Gentiles. But they were talking about, I've been studying, these men have been talking a lot, especially Generation 2434. Tyler is talking a lot about the BRICS. And J.D. Farag, just on his prophecy video update the other day, I was for the last 3 weeks, I've been looking at the BRICS and studying about them. And then he just mentioned it in his prophecy update. And I was like, oh, man, these guys are right on it. I just wanted to say something real quick about it. So the BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America, I believe are 5 of the 10 kings that are talked about in Daniel and Revelation, which I'm about to talk about. And because the BRICS aims to promote peace, security, and development and cooperation. That's their motto. But there also are to be 5 more countries added by the end of next month, which will bring that up to 10 countries. What the other 5 countries are at this point, I have no idea. As soon as I find out, I'll maybe make an update video for a couple minutes and explain briefly over everything. But right now, like I said, it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America. And the other 5 countries, I don't want to speculate, got some ideas, but I could be totally wrong, so I want to wait and see what they are. But what's so important about this, and I'll explain to it, I'll talk about Daniel, and then I'll go to Revelation and say something real quick afterwards, because I have a lot to read over. Daniel chapter 7, verses 1 through 9. In the first year Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. And then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision a night, and behold, the 4 winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. And the 4 great beasts come up from the sea, diverse one from another. Verse 4 talks about the first world empire, Babylon. The first was like a lion, and had eagle wings. I beheld it till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Verse 5 talks about the second world empire, which is the second beast, which is Medo-Persia. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said this unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Verse 6 talks about what the third world empire would be, Greece. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, the feast, and had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Verse 7 talks about the fourth, which would be the world empire, Rome. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had a great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. And then the last verse goes into, I considered the horns, and behold, there came upon them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes, like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. That's talking about the Antichrist being the last horn. The 10 horns is what of Rome. It's what the BRICS is 5, and there's 5 more coming. Now it talks about Jesus Christ. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. That was talking about Jesus Christ. And then we go back to the Antichrist, Daniel 7, 24 through 26. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. A lot of things are changing at this moment, aren't they? I mean, a lot of laws going on, changing through these organizations. And they shall be given into the hand until time and times, and dividing of time. And the last part talks about Christ. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and destroy it until the end. So it talks about out of the Roman Empire, the 10 kings that we're seeing formed right now, like the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And now there's 5 more that are about to come about. And that's a lot of the tacos that's the speeding up we're seeing that Jesus Christ talked about in Matthew 24. We're seeing this all around. So everybody's getting excited. And we are. We should be excited. If you're not excited, then you're not in the scriptures because you don't see what we're seeing. On a note, God has done a lot of things in my life. And the thing that always, I got chills thinking about it. I was in Iraq from 2003, boots on ground. I still remember this day, 18th February 2003 till around 24 June. Well, we got back in 24 June of 2004. So we spent about a year and a half. And 3 times I got to go to Babylon. And one time there, I remember me and Sergeant Gallus, we were able to talk to, we were doing security missions in that area. And that last time, God does things because I lost a friend. We lost another Smitty, Corporal Smith. They have a gate there in the area where we're at called Smith's Gate to give respect to him. We lost him. And I remember the guys coming back. There were 2 groups in this camp we stayed at, and FOB Kalsu. And the guys came in that morning. I was getting ready to do a patrol that morning, and they had come back from night, and that's when he had died. And I didn't have a word yet at that point because I was out doing a different patrol. We'd come back, change clothes, and then I was going to go out in the morning. And that's when the guys came back, and I was joking around with them. I always try to uplift the guys. They always known for me to walk around either with the Bible or uplifting guys or just beating up on guys, throw them up against a Humvee. We used to wrestle all the guys and just had a good time, just kind of uplift them. We were in a bad area. It was a bad area, and we had mortar attacks there, RPG attacks, small arm fire. We had a lot of stuff. And so I went up to these men, and immediately something was wrong. And then that's when one of the guys told me what happened. And his voice, and it was, I'd known Smith at that time, he was since 2000. For 99 to 2000, I was at a different unit, an Alpha Company, and then I went to Delta Company in 2000. I was 2005 with Delta Company before I got out and went back in a few years later for 13 more years and finished. I had a total of 13 years, Army National Guard. It was 5 years the first time, and my math, 7 or 8 years the second time. But I had to take a break because I'd lost my best friend there and a lot of things we'd seen. And I was upset about being in the war. It's political, and so we stepped out of it. And I was like, there was 8 of us that when our time was up, we got back to the States and got out, and I was the only one that went back in at the group years later to train younger men. I just felt God wanted me to go there. And it's a way to minister and be with these young men. But that was tough. Well, we were down, and of course it brings you down. We volunteered to stay. Them guys were so distraught. They lost one of their brothers in front of them. They went back, and we decided, because we were supposed to switch off another group, we told the other group, stay back, we'll stay there, and we stayed there extra time. We volunteered opportune, and we stayed there a lot longer. So the guys wouldn't, because it was a transfer out there. We stayed. That was tough staying because I was after some mortar attacks, and a long story there. But we went to Iraq. We went to Babylon about the 3rd or 4th time I was there. And me and Sergeant Gallus started talking to the architect, and they were talking around, and we were walking around in Babylon. And stood on where the throne was, and walked around. They say that's the wall that the hand of God wrote, which you don't know which wall it was, but that's where they always putting out. They thought that was it. We walked in that area, and then the architect, I keep saying archaeologist, sorry about that. He walked me and Sergeant Gallus around. We went in this area and went down there where they kept the wine, of course, underground, the winery. And then they walked in there and said, this is where they think Daniel's lions were. And there's been other places. I've looked at other archaeologists saying it was a different area, but near that area. But where we were at, we were underground in there. It just seemed like it was so real. I just can't explain it. And that feeling I got when I was down, I remember looking up because there's a lot of feet, over 20 feet up. And there's like little slits in the ground. And I just thought that, perfect lines, Dan. I was just overwhelmed. And, for me, I thought a lot about God at that time. Being what we've been through, I mean, it wasn't too long before that we had a mortar attack, and they popped mortars in on us, and then me and Sergeant Like ran around the corner, and we heard this whiz by our head. It was RPG. They missed us, went into a berm. We take burns and dug around our tents, and so you couldn't shoot small arms fires in there, And it went off, exploded, threw dirt and dust towards us, but the shrapnel went the other way and hit a guy in the chest and the guy in the groin. So they were screaming. I was combat lifesaver. One of the guys, medics, medics. So they're running over there, and I was scared to death. And I went the other way, and they're like, I got to get my CLS back. It's combat bag you have. So I grabbed my combat bag and went and grabbed it, and because I'm running with my saw. So I've got my saw everywhere I go. I mean, I slept that thing, my M249. And I grabbed my bag, and I was coming down, and they was like, get out of the tent. Because we were in range. They just missed the tent. That's what the tent was on the edge of this part of the camp, and that's what they were aiming in on. They were dropping mortars on the tent, trying to aim at that tent, just drop one after another, line in on it. But luckily, they ran out of mortars before they hit the tent, and they took off. We didn't know at the time they were taking off. They did mortars, and they shot the RPG and took off. And so it's like, get behind that 50 cal, Spago, because I shoot 50 cal really good. But I got one of my buddies was there, and he was a EMT in real life too. He was in the guard, so I just threw the yell catch because he went over to it and he didn't have a bag, so I threw my bag to him. Then I went and got behind the Humvee and we drove out there. But by the time we got there, these people, they know we don't want collateral damage, so they drive up towards. They cut across. They were pretty far off, so by the time we got near them, they were getting near the town. So we lost them. That's frustration. But I wanted to shoot them, and then I was calling in, let me take a shot. About 1,000 meters out, I could shoot 1,100 meters really accurate. Like, no, man, I could put it before and put it into them, but they're afraid for me to hit houses, I understand. But is what it is. And then we had to go, the medevac, the helicopter come in. And me and Freeman, we had to go, Specialist Freeman, we had to go around there and give security, let the helicopter get in and get those two guys in and out. And it's crazy times. We call it the Wild West back then. But my point is, I was so blessed by God to see Babylon and see these things. And we talked, and I talked to the archaeologists. It wasn't in one area we saw, but they told us where the other area where they believe the Tower of Babel was. So it gives us everything. I mean, like before I went up in that area, I was in the other area near the city of Ur, where I believe Abraham's buried. And if my memory's right, sometimes I believe it's Abraham's buried in Ur. I should have wrote notes. I'm just talking off my head. But we're there. There's a lot going on. And there's a lot more going on because I got in trouble. I stopped and said, I'm going to check some stuff out. And I was like, man, we're not supposed to do this. We got time. So I was checking some stuff out, and other military guys came down there, and we were in an area we weren't supposed to be. They were doing something over there. I don't know what they were doing. I've heard rumors, but I'm not just going to speculate on here because I want to be true to God. I have ideas. That's like when we came through Kuwait. That's before you ever heard about the Kindar giant. But we heard rumors over in Afghanistan because I talked to some special ops guys that were over there. And because he was talking about using one or two Moabs, which is mother of all bombs. They're the biggest bombs we have that aren't nuclear. And whatever reason you have throwing bombs in these mountain areas because there's giants over there. And then years later, I hear about the Kindar giants, and this is right the area they were talking about. So there's a lot going on. And the only reason why I'll refer to that because that was true to word. That man spoke to me, and I believe he's talking the truth. So, Revelation 13, 1 through 18. Try to speed this a little bit quicker. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Upon his horns 10 crowns, upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave it his power, and his seat and his great authority. And I saw one of the heads as if it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things, blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven and on the earth in a sight for men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of a man, and the number is 636. So it's referred again to about the 10 kings, and now the 10 kings will be the Antichrist that's raised. I put a mark in here, and he calls us all, both small, great, and rich, and poor, be free of bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the foreheads. On that mark that they're going to receive, it's going to have mixed DNA. That's the reason why Noah and his family, it talks about Noah being righteous. There was no mixed DNA in Noah and his family and anybody on the ark. Later, giants that came about after the flood. Giants after the flood were not as big as giants before the flood. And there's more of a study into how about the giants came about and the mixing of DNA allowed again by God. But no one on that ark had mixed DNA. They try to say mixed DNA came out. No, it's just some teachings in the scriptures. But the reason why the people weren't saved, because why wouldn't God save the innocent and all that were killed in the flood? Because they all had mixed DNA. And Jesus Christ came to save humanity by his blood sacrifice. He didn't came to save hybrids. Someone with mixed DNA, because they went after strange flesh. The 200 watchers that came down and had relations with the women of the earth. Their offspring did all kinds of things, and they also did bestiality and everything else. They mixed everything. They were just trying to take over all of God's creation and make their own, and taught people things that they weren't supposed to know. And so a lot of people were taught many things that originally God wasn't intending them to know at that time. But it's exciting times we live in. Like I said, next month, they're talking about adding 5 more nations or kings to this group, which will be 10. And they're saying 10's what they're planning. A lot of times I thought, we were taught the UN, the United Nations, but then they would have to downsize so much. But there's a lot of reordering going on. We see a lot of things. We know that this fall they have they're talking about the one meeting in September 17th and 18th about WEF is having their summit, and they're doing things like that. And I talked in a previous video. I can't remember offhand. It's late at night, so my mind's just wandering. And I have it in my other notes. Because I talked about, I made a video called The Season. We are in the season. Talking about how close we are. And so everything's about due. I'm looking at my notes here, but unfortunately I can't see what I'm trying to refer to, and I apologize for that. I've been doing a lot with grandkids this morning, so I've got a lot going on my plate. But the WEF, World Economic Forum, is talking about their meetings this fall. It happens to be 2 days after Feast of Trumpets. Amazing. A lot of people say, now the Feast of Trumpets represents the rapture of the church. Of all the feasts, they're all about Jesus Christ. And the Feast of Trumpets is about Christ coming for his bride. And that doesn't mean we have to, that's the time that rapture happens. It can be, it's a high watch area, but God's people are going to call when they're called. The one I was talking about, and I want to switch it real quick because it's in the tip of my mind. I apologize for that. That's one thing I don't like about my memory. I have issues, and it bothers me. Generation 2434 by Tyler talks more into what I'm trying to explain, and I would recommend going there. He's very thorough, a real good Christian man about what he teaches, and he teaches about the coming up. My dates, I'm going to say the 26th of July, which is this month. And he talks about the first fruits and explains that. Pentecost, AV. My mind's just wandering. I apologize. I got so many notes. When that storm hit last year, I told people that it just broke my heart because I had so many notes that were written. I had to throw away so many books because I have a lot of books like this made up, study guides that I'm full of notes out of the Bible on different subjects, and I lost so much. I had a lot of years worth there, and that's my memories. Some things I'm working with the VA trying to say it's due to PTSD, and I'm just frustrated. After my cancer, you're never the same, and I've had so many issues after my cancer. I survived my cancer, but I've had so many health issues and things like that. It's just, to me, it's frustrating, not able to do. I've been blessed, though. My grandfather spent over 20 years in a wheelchair due to an accident and messed his back up. My back's messed up. I have chronic pain. I had a lot of bad pain earlier today, but I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm able to move around, and I'm actually able to go to the gym almost every day and do some things. You have to push yourself, and our body's meant to move, not sit. And that's the problem. I think that's the problem my grandfather had. He was sitting all the time, and his pain was so severe. I love him so much and miss him. But I know he's with God. He has no pain. He was a good Christian man. But we're excited. I mean, that's everybody. I mean, you look all over, and the excitement is there because we know it's close. And a lot of people argue you don't know the day or the hour. We do not. No one's to know the day or the hour, but we're responsible. We're to be watchmen on the wall, and we're to know when the time is close. And when it's close, we just tell everybody about it. That's what a Christian is supposed to be doing right now. Salt of the earth, not conforming to the world, standing out, and letting other people know that time is close. Everybody's got that hole in the heart. I explain. I tell you, everybody, you got a hole in your heart. So and it's made there for a reason. God made it there for you to fill it with Him, Holy Spirit, or to fill it for the flesh. Me. If you're all about yourself, you're all about the flesh. And so I try to talk to others and influence them best I can. And by living a better life, I've made mistakes. I'm a sinner. People understand when Jesus Christ died on the cross, He covered our sins with His blood. That took care of your past, present, and future sins. Now, that doesn't mean someone who's continually sinning. Like I explained to my grandson, he had asked me some questions about homosexuality. Can a homosexual be saved? I said, absolutely. You don't shun people like that. You can talk to somebody, but understand that you talk to God and know God, and if they want to talk to you, but you don't agree with that lifestyle. That lifestyle is a sinful lifestyle, but that person could be saved. They could change. Now, they may have those tendencies, but that doesn't mean that they won't go to heaven. But if they continue in that lifestyle, they won't. And unfortunately, he asked me that question because he's got more than one relative, and he just is curious. But I'm not saying more, but I talked to that relative, and we talk a lot about God. So, there's a lot of things going on right there. So God works in mysterious ways. And I look forward to being with God soon. I lost my father 2 years ago. I look forward to seeing him. And there's many people I've known through the years and brothers of mine in the military that I miss so much, and I look forward to seeing them. God bless you, and thank you for watching this channel. And I hope it encourages you to understand and look more into the BRICS yourself and understand what's going on, and know that time is really short. I mean, we're right there, and just trying to talk more about God and just get the word out about God to others, and to pray for those around. Pray for your family, pray for your friends, and pray for everything, because everybody within the body of Christ right now it's everybody I know, health issues or different things. It's getting dark. I mean, there's a lot of attacks, and the reason why is Satan knows time is short, and Satan knows what happens to us. He knows. Everybody else is going to fall for a delusion, which we talk about the alien agenda and things like that, but they're going to be deluded, and they're going to be allowed to be deluded. That's the reason why Satan's attacking us. He wants to shut us up. So study more and get in God's word more and speak more. That's what it's all about. God bless you and thank you.